All right, let's start this painting. So, where to begin? I think I'm just going to give it a bit of background color to start. I kind of like this color. So I drop that in like this. There we go. All right. I don't think that changes anything really. Nope. All right. Remember to change my layers. Okay. Let's try to start this painting. So I'm fairly new to YouTube, and I thought I'd give it a try. So this is my first time drawing while I talk, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to start with like a darker brown color and just start sketching, I suppose. That down a little bit. This in there. You know, I'll just keep it really loose to start with. It's digital, so I can always go over stuff. A couple rough lines. Just search interesting shapes. Very sharp chin. Nice thing about digital is you can always overlay the picture after. See how close you were for your rough shapes. During this stage, I usually squint my eyes quite a bit, just to pull out big shapes. I know some people, better artists than me, say that your drawing should look good at every stage, but I've never been able to do that. But that's okay. So I'll just quickly, his nose is kind of turned up. So I'm already getting the proportions pretty off. But that's why it's nice to just be really loose at the beginning. Not make things too strenuous on yourself. Get discouraged before you even start, which I tend to do a lot drawing. It's like, oh, it doesn't look good in the first 30 seconds. I should just give up. But that's part of why I'm starting to do YouTube, is more for like a kind of document my progress. Kind of have like a little catalog of where my drawings, uh, how they evolve, so to speak. All right. So let's put a plumb line here, maybe one here. Measure from the inside of the eye. That kind of catches this shadow. Side of the cheek. I'm also not one of those talented people that um, know all the names of all the muscles and things like that. But we'll see how we get along anyway. I'm just going to measure a little bit. From the ear to the cheek. Yeah, it's pretty close. Close enough. Now we've got some squiggles down. I think I'm gonna switch to a different brush and kind of just put in some more of the shadows. The big shapes, I should say. Probably double check my measurements a little bit more, but at this point it just looks like a bit of a mess, so try to sculpt what I can, I suppose. Find masses of value are easier to kind of judge in terms of proportions, if they're somewhat in the right ballpark or not. I don't know if I'd paint traditionally in a similar fashion. Maybe with an underpainting, I guess that's what you could consider this. Just a very rough underpainting. Some hair back here. Gonna give it some texture just to let myself know what that is in a sense. But yeah, I was thinking about doing like a voiceover after I did the painting, but I don't know how to edit videos at all yet. So I figured if I could do it all in one take, that would be pretty neat. So I like this bit of value over here, just to help indicate. Gives it like a nice. I might actually even pull it out a little bit further. Maybe we'll see. I like that. It gives that a contrast. I don't know who this guy is. I just found this photo on Pinterest. Um, but it was interesting. He had an interesting face. So I thought I'd give it a go. Try to do a little portrait of him. So let's look at these eyebrows a little. Some stuff symmetrical. Like I said, I'm not a professional artist by any means. So I don't know if I'd consider this a. I definitely wouldn't consider this a lesson by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, like I said, just kind of documenting my art journey. I started taking art somewhat seriously when I was around 18 years old, and I've done it off and on for the past better part of 10 years. So we'll just see. It's like, let me see here. Nose. See, this is a common problem I do, is I make the nose disjointed from the lips. That is a common problem I have. Proportions. The chin's more like here-ish. I'll try to put these lines in a bit better. This edge at least. The nose. Give us the nostril. That is the nice thing about digital painting, is it's so easy to move stuff around. I just imagine a lot of this stuff is like placeholders. Still just roughing stuff in. But it probably be more efficient if I took a little bit more time drawing instead of making a proper mess of things. But it is the nice part about digital painting, and when I'm ready I can just switch to my light value and kind of sculpt it a little better, I suppose. But yeah, so let's, speaking of sculpting, let's try to do features a little bit more, just to see if I mean remotely close. So his eyes, put a little mark for each edge of the iris. I think that's the iris. He's got hooded eyes, so those dark down here. Bottom of the eyelid. The shadow is very sharp, so keep that in mind. Anyway, so yeah, I've been drawing off and on for about a decade, and I don't know, it's just something that I've always come back to. I have free time. Like, there's been times, like, obviously, looking back, I wish I could have been consistent, but try not to beat myself up about it, because life happens, and just being able to do it at all, I'm pretty grateful for. My eyes work, my hands work. There's no better time than today to do some doodling. I thought about starting YouTube a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's always been in the back of my head, maybe the past year, and probably explain more about that later. But yeah, I think about leaving almost like a what do you call those phone messages that you leave? Voicemail. kind of like a voicemail for my kids one day if, God forbid, something happens to me. But I thought it'd be kind of neat to have just like a little audio recording while in videos for my boys. uh, If anything does happen to me. So I think about people I've lost in my life, and it'd be nice to have a readily available um, way to hear them talk again. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I think I spaced his eyes maybe a little too far apart, but I could probably fix that when I get to the lighter values. For me, at least, maybe it's inexperience, but it's usually around this point of the drawing where I could kind of see where I've maybe made some proportional mistakes. Shadow on his Adam's apple. Maybe I'll just do like a little wash. Kind of just, bigger brush size. This is in shadow, shadow. There's a little bit of light peeking through there. It's another reason I like putting um, a background, because then if I did ever want to, like, when I go to do the light part of the face, should be, I don't know, somewhere around here maybe. I try to start with, I can't remember if it's better to go over sensationalized and then dial it back, or vice versa. Yeah, it's probably a little darker. But anyway, you get the idea. Kind of have that nice middle. So, because having the white can really throw off your colors. So, here I'm doing a typical thing where I get sidetracked from what I'm doing. I want to switch ahead to color, which I probably shouldn't be doing yet. So, we'll switch back to this color, I think it was. Yeah. And continue roughing in our shapes. So I think I also made the jaw too. It's a little too small here to here from the corner of the mouth. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Probably because I made such a mess already. Yeah, it's funny. Just thinking about, uh, I guess this is publishing in a sense. Publishing this on YouTube. I probably won't edit it. And, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I had to sneeze. Um, but what was I going to say? Oh, just about how nervous I felt and kind of still feel uh, publishing stuff. It's so easy to trick yourself into thinking about all the negatives, but there's really, like, there's literally zero risk to throwing up something on the YouTube, really. when you think about it. Like I said, I think the best way for me, because it's so easy, like my mind anyway, just runs away on me sometimes. Starts going from high and lows to, oh, what if I blow up on YouTube? I can make all this money. And then I could stay at home majority of the time, paint, just live the dream life of an artist. Which those optimistic thoughts are rather rare, but also they psych you out. It's like a double-edged sword. Because that's not really the reason I paint to begin with. I've never really, I mean, well, I've made some money off art, or my art, I should say, but nothing to write home about by any means. Um, Sorry, I'm just trying to figure these lips out a bit. It's like I'm not drawing his chin big enough. Chin's gonna be like there. So this is the bottom of the lip. There. It's lips. Yeah, I'm making a mistake somewhere in here, but we'll try to fix that. I should fix that now. Nah, I'm just gonna leave that for now. We'll come back to it when I finish my thought, which I was saying. Excuse me. Yeah, that art has never really been, not necessarily by choice, but a means of making money for me. I got close a few times, I guess you could say. When I was 18, I started as a tattoo apprentice before I really knew anything about drawing or painting. And after about 3 years of that, I got close to kind of getting close to making a living as a tattoo artist. And then the studio I was working at closed down due to some unforeseen circumstances by the owner, I suppose you could say. So then I started working construction. Well, I was a cook before that. So I worked as a cook for a little while in my hometown at a local pub. And then thought I'd try to make a little bit more money. So I went into construction, started doing rebar, started tying rebar in Toronto, which was good. I'm thankful for it because I made some good money in my early 20s, saved up a lot of it, and remember a few years after that, I took another chance. I think I was would have been just before COVID, so I guess almost 6 years ago ish, maybe 6 months before COVID. I stopped working as a rodman, and I started practicing because I was kind of like I'd tattoo like out of my house, just on friends and stuff. Like I'd learned how to do it all safely, so that wasn't too much of a worry. um, but I put together a portfolio and took it to a local tattoo studio and I got hired, which was pretty cool. I was like, oh, we're back. We're so back. And then, unfortunately, I started, I think, in November, October, October and November. Either way, going into the slow season for tattoos. So I spent that whole winter basically just hanging out at the studio, doing the odd tattoo here and there, um, which was good. It was nice to be in a studio again. But yeah, it was funny. Just as it was coming around the bend, so I kind of did that all winter. Just drew a lot, like sitting at the studio drawing all day, and getting ready for summer, which is the really busy time for tattooing. Um, it was around that time that COVID happened, and the studio I worked at closed again, unfortunately. Which made sense at the time. I don't blame them at all. Um, I would have done the same thing. It's like, the government says, "Hey, we got to shut you down. You're not essential." Um, and who wants to be paying $3,000 a month for a storefront when you potentially, who knows how long it's going to be till you can start earning money again? So, so that studio closed as well. And then I went back to construction. Did construction for another 2 years, 3 years. I met the woman that would become my wife. I think we got married maybe a year after that, and then had our first son maybe a year after that, and then our second son was born about 6 months ago. So I was lucky that in that sense of I worked a lot in my early 20s with this good paying job, so I got to take the last. I decided to take the last year and a bit off work, um, just because I couldn't think of a better way to spend my time um, than to kind of be home, help my wife with the newborn, and because they're only a year and a half apart, so I felt like having a year and a half, 1.5 year old, and a newborn baby at home would be a lot for my wife. I know people do it, but you know, we had some savings, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay home for a bit, and so that's been keeping me busy. Certain past year, but it's been awesome. Anyway, so back to the drawing. This looks well enough that I think I can probably start trying to dial in the lips, which is what I've been procrastinating on. I'll fix this shadow, a bit more light spots in there. Okay, so I think I'm going to stay in the same value and just bring it to like a middle ground. Maybe a little higher than that. That's like the mid tone. Maybe I will keep it there. Just put some spots in along the shadow shapes. We're just messing around anyway. So, Yeah, I don't know. I think I gotta push this back a little bit. Put a little bit in here. Should try to get some under that eye. Okay, come across here. That fold, that's probably even too dark, but that's okay for now. I'll stick to this hue just for now while we're messing around. So I know one thing I usually try to do, but I didn't on this one, was keep this nice reflected shadow. Oh well. C'est la vie. Where else do I see this type of tone? Maybe a bit in the ear. I'll mute it a little bit. Bring it down just a touch because it's in shadow. So maybe we'll drop it a little bit more. Yeah, I'm still kind of learning how shadows work. Because that looks too dark. But I bet if I grab it from there, yeah, it's basically the same. It's like, that's another good tip I've heard is cover your whole canvas. And what I should have done that I forgot, but oh well, was I should have made a new layer after my little brown underpainting. But we're still in the same vein. So I mean, I could just pretend I just mix white in with this brown and consider this still part of the underpainting, I suppose. I don't see why not. That's too light. Bring that down a bit. Take out some of the. I'm just gonna get this disc. Bring it over here, I suppose. Maybe less important spot. I don't know where to put it. There we go. Okay. So, got a plane change here. So it'd be good to indicate that somehow. This color we've got here. Something like that. Like I said, I guess this is all just part of the underpainting, so I don't have to get too particular. But it could be bad advice. So I don't know. We're learning together. If you're learning. If you're an artist, I don't know. I don't know who's going to watch these videos, probably. Yeah, I shouldn't say no one. Who knows? I think I'm ready. Maybe I'll put in some darker darks real quick. Yeah, I think I will. Is that all really? I don't want to go too dark though. I find that really anchors your stuff. Okay, so we've got a little shadow in here. I should make that a little more opaque. And this shadow starts up in here. Shape under the cap. Cap. Basically center of the pupil. It starts that triangle shape. It's hard to talk this long. It's, I think, the longest I've ever spoken or wrote before. My jaw sore. Uh, got that nice S-curve shape down, sweeping across, kind of losing itself into the hat. Anyway, this part's not super important. It just kind of helps you get a better sense of the relative values, I suppose. Or at least it does for me. Oh. Alright. Got those in. Let's put a little bit. So his ears basically level with the lip. But I didn't put in the lips that well. Tip of the nose. Let's bring this up. Maybe I should try to shape this nose a little bit while I'm here. Get these. You know what I could do? Just to do a quick check. Sometimes I'll drop the opacity on this image and then pull this over top. I might have to drop the opacity on this one too. And just kind of get a rough idea how close I was. It's not perfect by any means, but I think we can work with it. Gonna have to, I suppose. All right, so put those back up. Okay. Where were we? Putting in a bit of dark values. No, wait, I was gonna fix the nose-ish. So let's pick something like that. Try to find. There. Turn this up a bit. Got my highlight here ish. It's a bit too whatever. Put a little bit over there. Okay, so we've got our triangle shape. Nose planes are always tricky. It's so easy to get caught up looking at the nose opposed to the shapes of the color. Steal. Don't do that. Don't like taking, because you can, if you see my little eyedropper, you can take the colors. The thing is, from pixel to pixel, like you see how little I'm moving this thing, and it's jumping around the colors quite a bit, or the values of the colors. So I find it a little bit more it makes, I don't know. Does it make your drawing more consistent? I think so. If you kind of pick your own values, perhaps it does. But I don't know. I'm not an expert. All I am is a man. But we'll get there. One step at a time. Yellowy tinge, I think. Kind of getting off the rails again, going into color, but we could put in like a close enough placeholder value. I suppose, just to help me dial in this mouth location a little bit better. All right, so we'll go into the pinks. They are in light. Not much color where I'm looking. Too big. So you know what? I'm just gonna draw the rough shape. More red. Start with the dark. Lips are one of those things that tend to give me a hard time, to be honest. Go more. It's almost orange on that top right lip. He is kind of doing a funny thing with his lips, honestly. It's almost like duck lips. So probably getting into that area where you're overthinking it a bit. I usually try to just squint my eyes at these moments and get the big colors down. Before I really move into the nitty gritty of those things. But at least it's closer, maybe. We need a little bit of darkness and a bit of shadow. That might help. Bring in the shadow here. That little kind of just line. This might be too much, but oh well, we'll leave it for now. I actually give myself a slightly smaller brush. Top tip of the nose, shadow here, a bit darker. That connects there. The little kind of V. It's not really a V. You can use that to tie in. It's more of a warm red triangle. All right. Try to relax on the shapes of these. Oops. Yeah, something like that. See, that's the funny thing. I gotta remind myself. These values in the lips will not look correct until the values around it are set. That's why most oil painters go from dark to light. So you get that bit of a curve around where the mouth is. Here. It's a little too exaggerated. Still a bit more. Corner of his lips. That's close enough. Okay. It's coming along. It kind of looks like him. What should I do at this point of the drawing? What to do now? Squint my eyes again? I think the smart thing would be to... Okay, that's what I was going to do. Should almost like write a note to cover the entire canvas with paint. That would be the smart thing to do. Now that I've roughly got my shapes in the way I want them to, kind of looks like the guy. I think I'm just going to do a pass and darken all the spots I want to make a little darker. So I think I'm going to bump my brush size up a bit, give myself a little bit more opacity, and yeah, we'll see what that does. I think I've got my underpainting done, so I am going to make a new layer. And I've never really done that before. But then at least, I think it'll be nice. No, you know what? I'm going to go back to my other layer and cover the, for the fourth time saying it to myself, cover the canvas, or cover most of it in the approximate value. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I will do that. Oops, it's a little too dark. Okay, so ear, corner of the lip, bit there. Just here. Just keep it kind of rough. This isn't like an area of focus, so I don't have to go crazy or anything. Get a little darker. Bring his sideburn down. Corner of the ear. Do do do. So this has to actually come out. His hair basically is right there. Comes out here. Ish. I do like this sharp line. Emphasize that maybe a little bit just because it's something I like. You know, it's fun talking out loud because it does force you to slow down a little bit while you're working. and kind of have a conversation with yourself instead of just doing things uh, kind of willy nilly, as it were. So I think this will be good. I'm glad I'm gonna try to make this a habit. It's kind of got like a square shadow here. This will have to blend out at some point up into kind of this triangle shape that gets rather fuzzy. So see if I can just kind of blend the edges a little bit. That doesn't need to be a hard edge. Same thing there. It's a little darker in here, so just add a little bit. I guess I'm going to delete that. That's the only thing, I guess, about putting the layers on. Yeah, whatever. That's already got paint on it. I got to stick to what I was thinking about. Darken the spots that need to be darkened, and then continue covering the canvas in paint. So just try to apply the side of the nose here, that cast shadow. And we do get this nice, I like this shadow that covers the lip. A little bit of shadow down here for the cast shadow there. This a little bit darker, maybe. And then it's got some interesting hues. But I really like this shadow. Probably my favorite part of this picture is the shadow that cuts across the eye. Try to get that stated. I should probably be changing my colors more, but like I said, this is just I say it's just the underpainting, even though I'm kind of taking it a bit further than I suppose you typically would with an underpainting. And I don't even know if my proportions are correct. That's one thing I should do. I will do that right now. Is I'm gonna put my iPad down for a second and wheelie myself back a little bit from my. This is something I probably should have done. Like, how long have I been recording? 15. Probably should have done this like an hour ago. Not an hour ago, but 30 minutes ago. Um, yeah, chin needs a little. That's the thing that's standing out to me the most. It's definitely the chin. Everything else is not too bad. For what it is, at least. All right. And we continue. So, add just a little bit of darkness here, here. Probably make that eyebrow. It's almost completely black. Just add a little bit of texture. Maybe that'll survive to the finished painting. Who knows? We'll Put a little bit of shadow. I guess that's the tear duct, maybe. A little bit of, I don't know if I want to overstate the eyes, really. It's really this nice shadow that I like. No, I think I did it too dark. I definitely did it too dark. Oops. Oopsie. The shadow up here, though. Got that slight. Okay, I'm getting to the details again. Let's zoom out a little here. Let's pick a nice value for our lighter skin tones. We've got enough of the darks to work off of. Maybe just a little bit in his shirt. Nothing crazy. Just like it's more dark. Turn the opacity up a little. It's one thing I have heard a few times is maintaining the abstraction. This whole thing's looking pretty abstract right about now. And edges. Okay, so this chin. Got a shadow here, ear. So I'm a little off the mark on the chin. Because it also has that nice, got that nice line here. This edge kind of loses itself a little bit, cuts back in. Got a bit of a reflected shadow there. My bad. Now when I squint my eyes, it looks better. Better. Hmm. I guess I should edit out some of the stuff. The long pauses. Oh well. Alright. I think we can come in with some light values now. So I see a lot of orange, a lot of yellows. So maybe we'll just find something in between those to start. The more kind of subtle, a more subtle approach. But we'll see. We'll see what it looks like beside. Yeah, it looks like dead skin. Hard to say right now. Yeah, so this one, it's a nice hard edge. Top of that. Same here. A little bit up there. The top of the eyelid is a nice light value. So put a streak of this and maybe we'll layer it up after. Anyway, bring my attention back to just filling in this canvas instead of jumping around so much, doing whatever intrigues me at the time. So we get a bit of a value. Oh, I guess I could do the neck. It's a little bit more orange to me on the neck. Too orange. Back a bit. More yellow. We'll dial it in a little later. Just get it on. Switch back to the orange. It just looks better. There's no hard edges here, so take those out a bit. Darker orange over here, I think. Darker. Too dark. Too dark again. Doesn't look horrible. Yeah, I'm getting a little nitpicky here. Just get a local tone down. Figure it out later. No, it looks really flat. I don't like that either. Uh, heard people say that when you introduce a new color to a painting, you should find 3 other spots to put it. I don't know. Who knows? I do like paintings that do that, though. They got a little bit of teal or something, lip, and then corner of the eye. Gives it like a nice little artsy feel to it. It's almost like a bronze on his forehead. A little darker. I can tuck this in here a little bit in the eyebrow. Kind of fuzz it around the eyebrow a bit, maybe. That same color. Eyelids. Too much. I'm just gonna do a quick. All right, so we're about, I don't know, 90% there. Wow, that is really, really light. Drop that down a bit. I don't know if I want to go that light yet. Let's just keep playing with the midtones, I suppose. Suppose we're at the point now we could get a little more involved in the eyes. Take a step back again here. I should do that more often. Yeah, definitely gotta fix that line on the cheek. I shouldn't say fix. I should. Oh, happy accidents. That being said, it does have to be modified. I like the it's got more of a sharp line at the top, and faded, soft edge in the bottom. Mm-hmm. I think I'll take a quick break actually. Been an hour and 10 minutes. That's a good time for a break.